Earlier this year in July, we brought the incredible blacksmith Masashi Yamamoto to come visit Canada. He came to all the Knifewear stores, got to meet a ton of customers. We then took him to scenic Camrose, Alberta. And you're probably wondering, hey, why did we take him to a small town in the middle of Alberta? Well, we wanted him to meet this incredible local blacksmith that we met recently. Kensea Aaron is a young guy we met over the internet. He's just 17 years old at time of recording, and we wanted him to be able to meet Masashi Yamamoto. We'd been talking with Kensea for a while to get some knives made, and well, he took us out to his family farm where he makes his knives to show us where he works.
I don't know if it's lame, but this is what started everything. So the first day that I really wanted to make knives, we went to Home Hardware or something and bought the tiniest little anvil that you can get and a hammer. Hammered it out into this bookmark and slowly worked up and got tools until I could make actual knives. Other than one or two smaller knives, I haven't made anything but kitchen knives for probably 3 years now. So this is the shop at my grandparents' house. It's a space where I've been able to have a lot of tools and equipment that I kind of couldn't have in town. We're a little bit out in the country on an acreage, and it's just a really nice building to be indoors in the winter and have the big doors to open in the summer. My little slice of heaven. Yeah, I come from a huge nerd family, so we were always watching Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So yeah, all the swords and armor and stuff always made me really like all that kind of stuff. And then I watched it on Forged in Fire, and these guys were making swords right in front of me, sparks flying everywhere, and so I couldn't think about anything else. So I ended up kind of pestering my parents until they let me get into it. And I come from a family of metalworkers and welders, so they didn't look at me like I was that crazy.
The best part of the day was when Kensea got to work, forging knives right in front of us. He's got this great little tiny forge that Masashi-san was really interested in, but even better, he's got this ancient 100-year-old spring hammer that he's using. So he started his welds by using a hand hammer. Then he moved to the spring hammer to draw out the billets.
So right now I'm working on trying to simplify these knives down to the most basic level that I can bring them to try and bring the quality up to the highest level. Taking out anything unnecessary that might be in a knife, I'm making knives out of one piece of metal and one piece of wood. It's, you know, two really simple shapes. You just have the octagon and then the blade shape, and leaving that forged texture on there to show how it was made, kind of the basic knife, and bring my skills up as high as I can using that before venturing into things that may be more complicated or flashy.
そうですね、まず若い子が一人でやってる。で、あとはうちらの仕事は日本の言葉で言うと段取り8の仕事2なんです。それを表現してもらいたい、やってもらいたい。そうするともっと彼はもっともっと伸びます。
As far as learning how to do things, it's going to be that last 5% of the knife that really separates a good knife from a great knife. And I think that's something that Masashi-san is really famous for, is his really attention to detail along the edge there to get something that works perfectly as a tool. And so anything that he'd show me about that would be fantastic. I'm kind of isolated as far as a knife maker out here. Still hoping he'll tear apart my stuff sometime today. He's said nice things so far, but I'd love it if I cried. I think it would be perfect.
もうちょっともう少しこううちらがいつもやっていることを伝えてやってもらったらものすごくいいものを作っていけるはずです。
Much like Masashi-san, Kensea is always striving to make his next knife better than the last. The two became fast friends, and Masashi-san even offered Kensea a 1-year apprenticeship to come work with him in Japan.
まずは鍛造ですよね。鍛造、今日は単節を彼やってくれましたけど、単節であれば日本の単節の仕方っていうのはやっぱり彼が思ってやってることよりももっと歴史が長くて意味が深くってそういうことがあることを知ってもらえればもっともっと良くなっていくんだろうなと思います。
We had to head back to the city, but Mike, Naoto, and Masashi-san stuck around, and later that day, Masashi-san gave Kensea a special forging demonstration, showing off some of his special techniques. Drawing out the tang more efficiently, special methods of hammering the steel by hand, and more. Masashi-san also showed him how to forge sideways on the spring hammer to make a more efficient use of each strike. Kensea has already adopted this technique into his knife making. All these little tricks allow him to just work smarter and not harder, and they allow him to craft more knives in the same amount of time without compromising on quality.
Tell us what you learned.
The way he forges the tang is so much faster and more efficient.
Yeah.
I'm never doing my way again. Thinking 2 steps in instead of 1 step back. Like a lot better. I'm pretty sure it was way better thought out.
すごいこと、いいこと、いいこと。最初素手でやってたことかな。
The first thing is that the Kensea was trying to forge with his bare hand. That was the
Terrified. Absolutely terrified. Yeah, I'm really just hoping that they perform well and that they make some people happy, and I'm looking forward to get the angry emails and hopefully learn how to push my craft to a level where it is more functional for the kitchen, where right now I'm kind of guessing, and I'm hoping that a knife as sharp and thin as I can get it is going to do the trick.
彼の今日の作業を見てると、多分そのやりたいと思っていることがうまく自分はイメージできているのにできていないもどかしさっていうのが伝わってきたんですよ。それを解決、うちがやってることをちょっとでも教えればすぐ解決できることがたくさんある。それだけ伸びしろがあるっていうのが見えたっていうのがすごいいいところですよ。
So here's the deal. Kensea is super humble, which I think any good knife maker should be, but his knives are way better than he lets on. For a guy that had never even handled a Japanese knife up until a few months ago, he makes incredible blades. These are Japanese knives. They just happen to be made in Alberta. These guys are going to be available in Knifewear Edmonton for a special launch event, but we've already got Kensea working on a new batch, so you can expect to see these in other Knifewear stores and on knifewear.com in 2023. And we're excited to see where Kensea's skill develops and grows from here.